Okay, so we have our two back panels facing the same way and the right side facing up. So make note of the V-stitches there, and the next one would be here, and so the next one would be here facing that way. So that's the last V-stitch, and I've marked that row. Okay, so we'll move that marker, and we put our wool needle threaded with a length of wool in underneath that one, and then underneath that marked stitch. It'll be very loose at first. Okay, so follow along the same row. We put our needle in the same place, and then under 2 bars. Roll the edge out with your finger so you can get the correct spot. Then you put your wool needle back in the same place under 2 bars. Creates like a ladder. You can pull that a little bit. Okay. So back in the same place and under 2 bars. Move it around with your fingers so you can see exactly where you need to put your needle under the 2 bars every time. So make a few of these and then pull on the end, and it seams that up, and you can barely see where I've sewn that. Okay, now you've done that, before you keep going, we want to place a marker at the new colour point here. Just to line these colours up. Okay. So it's one section at a time. You could pin it all the way up, but you will often find you have to move them pins anyway and do it in a different spot. So section by section is the best way. So continue that all the way up to the marker. Keeping it flat on the table. Don't pick it up in your hands, you will lose track of where you are. Keep it flat on the table and don't pull your stitches very tight, and you'll get a nice seam. Use your needle to loosen the stitches, any that might have pulled too tight. Okay. Keep going as normal. Now if you want to change to a lighter colour for this middle section, you can, but it's you'll barely be able to see it, so if you use the darker colour it'll be fine. It's optional. Make sure you keep within the same row. Under the 2 bars, you go in the exact same spot, lift 2 bars up, now sometimes you'll come to a point where the 2 colours might not match. You can skip one, like you could put your needle here if it means it's going to make it line up, or you can go back in normal here and go through just one. You can adjust it. You will not notice differences when you adjust. So little adjustments. Look at that. Can't really see. It's great. So continue this method all the way to the top. Pin the top together. With a lock-in marker. And you can just adjust it. So you can probably put another one. And it just keeps it all balanced. Okay, so we're up the top of the back. We'll finish seaming just about. Remove the marker. And the last couple of stitches. And last one. There we go. All that. Okay, so there we go. It's all seamed. And it looks great. Just pull out your yarn needle and leave that tail. We'll come to that after. Next we will be grafting the two front pieces to the back at the shoulder. Showed you. So lay out your pieces just like this. Place a marker at the corner. Count around about 17 stitches in on both sides and place a marker. Then take a length of yarn on the needle and we graft the shoulders, graft the front to the back. And this is how I do it. Find the first V stitch and put your needle under the point. On the other side, you're looking for the one pointing up. Put your needle under that. On the top part, put your needle back in the same place and under the V. And then on the bottom, the same place into the one pointing up. There's a ladder stitch, and this is almost invisible. Very easy. And we should remember that your needle goes in the same place. Okay, so we hold the end and we pull the there we go. Don't pull that too tight. You want it kind of loose so it doesn't pucker. Okay, do that all the way along. Okay, so we've finished grafting that shoulder and repeat with the opposite side. And there we have our second shoulder seamed up. Okay, so we have the shoulders grafted together. And there's our neckline. If the counting is a little bit off, you can always just measure how far in you want. Okay, so we have our body panels wrong side together. And this is the edge. We have our sleeve ready to pin in place. We'll take a stitch marker, place it where you grafted the shoulders, and the top of the sleeve, place that pin, that marker, place that marker. Then we take the underarm point. Don't be afraid to stretch it. Stretch it down. And pin. The top of the body panel to the sleeve, then the lower 2 layers, mark those, pin those together. Then the top 2 layers, and pin those. Then pin the body panels where the joints, where the colours match. Place another one here. This will seem too loose compared to this side. You can stretch this one. We will start seaming the top from under the arm. We go to the top, then we flip it over and we seam down the other side, and then we seam the body panels together down to the bottom. We begin by threading a long piece of yarn onto our wool needle. And we place our yarn under one bar of the body panel. So we make these line up as we go, which means you may have to skip 1 or 2 along here, but you will need to go through each stitch on the... Don't skip any sleeve stitches, but you can skip these ones to make it even. The yarn comes out here. We want to keep within the same column. under 2. We want the V pointing up for the sleeve, and on the body panel it's the same as the back mattress stitch. You go under 2 bars. If you need to move this to even it out, do so. As long as you don't change the position of the top one. You can position it like that and repin. We have a visitor. The cat is optional. Continue that, and we reach to the top of the shoulder. Okay, so I've got to the top and I've flipped it over, and now we're going to start working from the top of the shoulder down to the underarm. And I'll meet you down here. Okay, so we've seamed up and around the arm. Now we're working on the body panels, so it's just coming to the end. Go in the same spot on the other panel and pick up 2. Okay, so we've done all the seaming on that sleeve. We'll weave the underarm ends in later. It's really nice, we've got a nice seam all the way along. So repeat that with the other sleeve, and then we will get on with the ribbing for the bottom. Right, so here we have our cardigan with both sleeves seamed on. And the sides seamed together. And now we are ready to take care of the ribbing at the bottom. Okay, so here we are with the bottom of the cardigan, and we are about to pick up the stitches. removing this waste yarn as we go. Alright, let's get to it. Take your 5mm needle with a long cable, the right side facing you, and we begin by just slipping those onto our needle. All the way around. So you can see that I've actually dropped a stitch here. So for the moment I'll put my loom pick in there to hold that stitch while we pull out the waste yarn from there. Okay, so we have dropped this stitch here. We use a hook, make sure it's sitting the right way, and pick it up with your hook. Take the first bar, slip that through, then the last one, slip that through, and then onto your needle. There we go. And we continue slipping stitches. If you find you've lost a stitch as you work around, just follow that pick-up method. We're just about to the end of the first panel. And remove the waste yarn as you go. Okay, second panel, and we can tighten up any loose bits here after we finish. So continue to slip stitches off onto your needle all the way around. Continue that just like so till we reach the very end, around to the other corner of the front. Okay, so now we've picked up all our stitches for the bottom. We need to join on blue, okay, and now we can begin, and we knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. I'm doing an English method for this tutorial. Knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. Now we continue that until we get to where the first panel ends. I'll meet you there. Okay, so we've come to where the first seam is at the end of the first panel, and you'll see that the stitches look a little bit crossed. So we're up to a purl stitch. We purl those together. And this will ensure your sides look really neat. And then continue around. Okay, we're at the next up to a knit stitch. You would knit those two together. So every time you come to a join, a seam, you will work those two together, whether it's a knit or a purl. And then continue as normal, one by one ribbing all the way. We want to do about 10 rows of this ribbing. You can go longer if you like, or less rows, but 10's a nice amount. And I'll see you back when you finish that. Okay, so here we have our bottom border done. So what I've done is 9 rows. The 10th row is cast off. So to begin, we get ready to do our next row, which is bind off. We bind off in rib, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first one's a purl, so just purl as normal. Then knit the next one, grab the stitch and pull it over. There we go. Identify what the next stitch is. It's a purl, so we purl that and we lift that over and just keep doing that. knit the knits and purl the pearls, and we lift the first stitch over the second one the same way every time. All the way along. Hi guys, we're back and we are ready to pick up and knit along the front edges for our button bands. So I'm on the left side of my cardigan, left front, and I've attached some yarn, and we roll it out and identify where you want to put your needle. So in this case it will be along here. Put your needle in, wrap your yarn around and pick up the stitch. We pick up 3, so that's 1. Stretch that out so you can see where your needle goes. My yarn's a bit dark. 2, into the next one. Pull it out to now we skip a hole. We do 3, so there's 1, 2, 3, and we skip the next one. 1, 3, and we skip that, go into the next. Every time you do this, make sure you pull it out sufficiently and don't just go into the next. Make sure you pull it out a little. So that's 1, 2, 3, skip all the way to the very top. We don't continue around the back of the neck. We go just to the very top corner. There, we don't go around further. We stop. When we get to the end, we turn and we start knitting 1 by 1 rib. Knit 1, purl 1 for about 10 rows. So where am I up to? You can see the groups of 3. So that's 1. Stretch it out so you can see where you've gone last. 2, 3, skip. You pick up 3 stitches, skip 1, pick up 3 stitches, continue all the way across. So do that and we'll get back. Coming to the end. So I don't count the stitches because I don't need to count get the same count on the other side. You just stick to that ratio, it will all work out. So now that we've done that, picked up those stitches, we turn our work. So we want to do about 10 rows. I usually do 9 rows, and then the 10th is the cast off anyway, it counts as a row. So we start with a knit stitch. Then a purl. So it might be a bit awkward to do the pearls because it's a little bit, you can see, twisted there. So just persevere with it on the first row. It'll be a bit awkward, and then it'll be a breeze after that. Knit one, purl one, ribbing all the way up to the top. Go ahead with that. Continue for however many rows you like. Knit the knits, purl the pearls, one by one ribbing.